got my little mojo on there for a minute. You know that song? Anybody? Yell it out. George on My Mind. Who's famous for that, singing that song? Yeah, hit it, Santina. The genius of Ray Charles. How many of you saw the movie Ray? Oh, lots of you. Good. I love that movie. In that movie, there's a scene. Well, let me say this. I could be talking about Ray Charles just for having overcome a disability and becoming a great musician, but I just want to take it to a whole nother level. In that movie, there's a scene. See if you remember it. He's sitting at the grand piano. He's playing Georgia on My Mind. Behind him is a little choir. Behind the choir is a full orchestra, violins, the whole schmear, everything. And it sounds just like on the record. It's so beautiful, right? And then the camera pans from Ray into the recording booth. And in the recording booth, you see the suits, the studio executives. And you know what they're saying? Who does he think he is? He's a rhythm and blues musician. He's singing this beautiful Hoagie Carmichael ballad with a full orchestra. This will never sell. Well, we know they were completely wrong, and Ray was completely right. And that song sold millions of copies, went on to become his signature tune. A few years later, Ray Charles decided he wanted to sing country music because he liked the stories in the songs. The record executives told him no. He quit that label, went to another record label, became the biggest country and western crossover artist of all time. Because from Ray Charles, we could learn something in our teaching. And the lesson is, Santina, next slide, there we go. Accept no limits. Because he refused to be limited in the kind of music he could play, because he was a genius, he could play anything. The teacher I want to tell you about is the teacher that both of our sons had in kindergarten, Brenda Robbins. Brenda Robbins was a great teacher, and everybody wanted her for their children. But when our older son had her, she was stricken with muscular dystrophy, and she began to not be able to move so well. But she made it through the year, and our older son had a great year with Brenda. 2 years later, our younger son, Ben, had her, and by then, she was relegated to, you never see one of those little motorized wheelchairs? So she taught the whole day from that motorized wheelchair. But Ben would always come home so excited about school. Then I found out some of the things she was doing. Do you know how many books a kindergartner will read if he's permitted to read it on top of a motorized motor scooter? And when you were little, did you have like a Halloween parade in your schools, a lot of you? She dressed up as a cowgirl and made her motorized scooter the horse, and she led the Halloween parade all around the school. They thought she was the coolest because Brenda Robbins would not accept a limitation on herself, or the way we put it now, on her efficacy as a teacher. And she certainly wasn't going to put a limitation on what her students could do. And nothing was going to stop her. That's what great teachers do. They say, you will not limit my children. You know, some people will say to you, the kids you're going to teach in Baltimore County, some of them are going to come from poverty. You're going to teach kids of the achievement gap, students who are Black, Hispanic, who have new English language learners, who traditionally have not scored as high. They can score just as high if they have people who say, I'm not going to accept some artificial limit on you. I believe in you, and nobody's going to put any limitations on my teaching because I can do this, and so can you. Great teachers feel that way.